People seem to really enjoy the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit. So here's another post. This is a good one. It says, local owner of a small business in a blue state obnoxiously and publicly celebrates Trump's win, then whines that she's lost customers. So here's her post. They cover up her name with a clown emoji. Shucks. This person says, for all those people shouting F you to all the Trump lawn signs this morning, pace yourself. Wouldn't want you to get a sore throat. And then the Trump won sign. Then the same person posted this. Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Trump Day. Then the same person posts her Trump train. Now we have a longer post. And this person doesn't really know how to use your. She's using your in the wrong way in several different occasions on here. But let's get into the post, even despite that. She says, if you're not going to support Republican businesses anymore, then you damn well better know who you work for and where your paycheck is coming from, where you're buying you groceries, buying your gas, going out to eat, going to see for entertainment, shopping, and using for your travel plans, because most businesses are Republican. Not all, but most, especially self-employed ones and farmers, capitalized farmers. Funny thing is that you have been supporting them your whole lives. Do you really think this is the first time they have voted Republican? Good luck with that choice. I support all businesses and all people, no matter who you voted for. We are all Americans and we should be supporting each other no matter what race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion you are. That's what makes America great. Those people choosing to lose friends and choosing to no longer support each other over someone's choice and opinion, I'm truly sad for you. One side doesn't make us whole, two sides does. So let's all come together instead of being divided. So you didn't think about this division when you were like, what day is it? Trump Day. You didn't think about that at all when you were attempting to like rub it in the noses of the libs in your blue state. You didn't really think about that, huh? Did you? So now you're losing money. And now you're like trying to figure out how you're going to bring these people back. It's just so sad. Absolutely not. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of your behaviors. So many of these people like to attempt to trigger the libs or whatever, but they forget that these people actually have money and can just vote with their dollars. We might not have gotten what we were looking for as far as the presidential election, but we can vote with our dollars. And why would you support someone that's doing this? Making signs taunting people, pace yourself, wouldn't want you to get a sore throat. You know what you were doing, lady. Oh, there's more. This person is still feeling it. How you treat someone that votes differently than you speaks volumes about your character. So it looks like they reshared someone else's post. That money must be really, really looking kind of funny these days, right? Organic Coffee Bean says, we're all American and we should be supporting each other. The lack of self-awareness is astonishing. Al Amazing says, but only under the terms of my political party. Galadriel says, your restaurant, my choice. And Shinjuku says, your face, my leopard. Yeah? Oh, no. Leopard. No, it's their leopard. It's their leopards that are eating their own faces. But basically, you shouldn't be obnoxious if you want people to bring you money. Even if you are gloating, maybe you should be doing that in private and not in public where people can make the decision to vote with their dollars. You all go ahead and join the conversation and let me know what you think of this one. So here's a woman posting in the Am I the A-hole subreddit. And like I said, when women post in the Am I the A-hole subreddit, they're simply looking for validation for feeling normal human emotions. She says, am I the a-hole for refusing to let my boyfriend move in with me because of his bad habits? Off top, no, you're not an a-hole. Now, let's look at the post. She says, I, 29-year-old woman, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, Mike, who's 31, for about a year and a half. We've been talking about moving in together, and he recently brought it up seriously, saying he wants to take the next step. At first, I was excited, but now I'm having doubts, and I'm starting to feel like I might be the a-hole. Mike has some habits that I've found hard to deal with. even though I love him. He doesn't clean up after himself, like at all. I'm not talking about minor things like leaving a cup on the counter. I'm talking about leaving dishes piled up for days, clothes all over the floor, food wrappers everywhere. He never takes out the trash, even when it's overflowing. And when I try to ask him to help out or even just clean up after himself, he acts like I'm asking for too much. He says things like, I'm just not a clean person, or that's your thing, not mine. I've tried to have calm conversations with him about it, and while he agrees that it bothers me, nothing ever changes. I've also noticed that he spends most of his time on the couch watching TV, and if I ask him to help with something, he'll either put it off or say he's too tired after work. I've talked to him about moving in together and told him that I'm just not sure it would work because I don't think I could live with someone who won't contribute to keeping the space clean or help with daily tasks. He got defensive and said I was making him feel like a burden and that he was willing to try harder. But honestly, I've heard this before and I'm not convinced. I love Mike, but I'm starting to feel like it might be more of a hassle than a joy to live together. I don't want to be the person who does everything while he just chills out. I also don't want to become resentful. I've tried talking to him about it, but now he's hurt, saying I'm not giving him a fair chance and that he feels like I don't trust him. I'm just not sure if this is something I'm willing to put up with long term. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let him move in unless he changes these habits? You're absolutely not the a-hole, because what I have seen is if they're not willing to do this at the very beginning, he's not even willing to put on his best behavior right now. It certainly gets worse later on. Just think about having some kids. You're going to be the one going to work, coming home, doing all the things that have to do with chores, all of the child rearing, all of the organization. This is not a good situation. And if it's this bad and you guys have separate residences, soon as you move in together, your space is going to look like his space is currently. And if you're unwilling to be in his space and think about living in his space, it's just not going to work. And this type of person doesn't deserve a relationship at this current juncture because he is more of a burden than anything. This is not hygienic. This is gross. Mischievous Babe says, I'm not just a clean person, or that's your thing, not mine. These comments are enough to let you know that these are things he's not willing to do. You are different, and it's either you end up picking up after him for life, leave the relationship, or he miraculously changes. And I highly doubt he's going to miraculously change. Expansive Outlook says he's telling her who he is. She needs to understand what she's getting into if she stays with him long term. Vonostrom says, favorite saying, they've shown you who they are. Believe them. Believe them. Yeah. Yep, you definitely better. It's not going to get better. He might change for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but it's going to devolve back into exactly where it is once she signs a lease. Lou says, not the a-hole. You two are not compatible. You will resent being his maid and he won't care. He hasn't any interest in changing his habits. He wants you to do all the compromising and all the housework. Hoping he will change is futile, or he would have done it already. Any good points in his favor are totally canceled by his attitude. Women marry men assuming they can change them, improve them. Absolutely false. Don't waste your time thinking, if only he would, or if I love him enough, he will change. He will, however, tell you, why are you complaining? You knew what I was like when you married me or moved in with me. Stop wasting any more of your time. Exactly. Because he will say this, why are you trying to change me? Why are you complaining? You knew who I was. You knew who he was. He's showing you. Two Dogs Life says, the only potential saving grace would be if he made enough money to have cleaners come in once or twice a week. That's still not good enough because he's the type of person to eat something and just throw it on the floor. And it has to sit there until the cleaning lady comes in. That's still not good enough. Okay, but honestly, if he's fine with living with overflowing trash, sinks, and dirty laundry on the floor, I can't see him ever becoming convinced to change his dirty ways. OP is really better off just moving on. Then Kay says the same thing. Cleaners wouldn't be enough. You start thinking of how his mess reflects on you to a stranger cleaning. You end up picking up before the cleaner so you don't feel so embarrassed. It won't work. Resentment will still build. You see his mess before the cleaner, and any actual attraction goes down the drain. It's not worth it. Go Brave says, exactly. Unless they come every day, it isn't enough. Successful Mike says, and you can't just ignore it in the hopes that he'll catch on. You don't want to live in a mess that attracts insects or nor rodents. Once you start cleaning up, because it's your health that's being affected, that'll be the fallback each time, forever and ever. Exactly. You rodents and insects. Yeah, nobody wants to live like that, except these people that don't mind living like Pigpen. Laughing Mouse in Wisconsin says, honed in on the part women marry men assuming they can change them or improve them, and said, my bestie asked her daughter once, if nothing ever changed with him, would you marry him? That's the question we should be focusing on. And I'm going to stop right there. Would you marry him if you couldn't change anything? Could you still see yourself with that person forever? That is a great question. And that's where we're going to leave that so you can keep that question on your brain. Let me know what you think of this. I know my network. Obviously, this woman is not the a-hole, but go ahead and still chime in. So there's this viral video of this man talking about how he is a Trump supporter that lies to liberal women. And most of us with common sense know that these men lie and that they are capable of switching things up after a while. We know and understand that there are manipulation tactics like love bombing, getting their hooks in these women early, future faking. There are all kind of manipulation tactics that they do. They mirror, meaning they ask you a bunch of questions about yourself, and then they're like obviously just like that, like, oh my god, me too. They do things like hang out in women's spaces, feminist spaces, and learn some of our lingo so that they can speak like we speak a little bit. They lie, and it's all manipulation tactics, whether it's lying to a woman who says that she wants to be child free, knowing that you want to have kids, the people that act like I'm not really religious, and then all of a sudden the conservative part comes out, or somebody is like, yeah, go ahead, make that money, but then flips it and acts like he wants you to be a stay-at-home mom and you've expressed never wanting to. Like, people do lie and switch up. So this man who is going viral saying that he only wants liberal women, it's a wild situation, because we know that there are conservative women out there, but they don't want those women. They want the women that they think that they need to bring down 2 to 3 pegs, because feminist women to them is like a wild horse that they need to tame, or something that they need to put in their place. So this woman sent me this message on Reddit, because I am BurbNBougie on Reddit. She says, hi, Burb, just a rant. Love your videos and think you're doing some important work. Just came across this video on Twitter. I'll never use his new name. That just proves what you and all women have been saying. Men lie. Men admit to lying, but women constantly get blamed and told to take accountability when men do shitty things. How are you supposed to vet against liars and the switch up like these things don't happen? When men go through the very rare cases of being screwed over by a woman, they get sympathy and empathy. Women get told to pick better. How the hell are you supposed to do that? Why can't people just admit men are shitty people and they shouldn't have done that, instead of scrutinizing how we effed up to be treated badly by a man like all men are saints, when we know clearly that is not the case? And this is the part that we need to keep discussing. Like, when people say, you need to vet better, you need to vet better, you need to choose better. How do you choose better when they are lying? And we don't know that they're lying until their actions and words don't match up. Like, how do you know that they're lying? They like, people really blame women for getting lied to, and it's a wild world out there. So this is the man that's out here telling everybody that he lies to liberal women. He went on social media and went viral telling everybody that he lies, and had the nerve to say, you got to be discreet with it, putting his whole face out there. Like, what is wrong with these people? At least this one is a terrible liar. So any woman that sees him now will know that he's a liar. And hopefully, forevermore, he will be part of the loneliness epidemic and never get any peaches. Period. Hopefully he never. Hopefully he's part of that loneliness crisis, and it infects many of his friends who are liars as well. But y'all, let me know what you think about that.
Follow politics, but like being a straight white dude that likes Trump but is only into liberal women is a lot like being in the closet, because it's like they're gonna ask you about it eventually, and you have to say what we all say, which is yeah, I don't really follow politics, but like there's levels to this, man. You got to be discreet. You got to be really good at it, and it's not that hard once you get used to it. You just like lie a lot. If you can just lie really well to liberal women and just like make them think that you aren't really into politics, and everything works out. It's totally fine.
Of all the things,
Has anyone thought about the fact that a man saying they don't like Donald Trump is probably going to be a lie they use to get women? Has anyone thought